Three, two, one. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of the program. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb's an author. Barb's also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday, and if you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or go ahead and search Barb. You'll find her on most popular podcast platforms such as iHeartRadio. Every week, Your Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of your largest assets, that's your home. Barb, what are we going to be covering today?
Well, Richard, I've been having fun doing some research to see what the experts are saying about where the Colorado real estate market is going, the predictions into 2025, and how do I get a cash offer on my home will be the next topic. And then this one I get asked an awful lot, which is, should a home seller make repairs on their home before they sell their home? Some are not necessary, some probably are. It really depends on the price range and all those things. So that's part of what we do. So we'll go into some details about what you can focus on when you're getting your house ready for sale. And the very last topic we haven't talked a lot about, but I think it's important on the buyer's side. How does a buyer prepare their home for, I'm sorry, let me say that again. How does a buyer prepare to buy a home, both financially and all the processes that they have to get ready for to move into their new home? And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
State mark. Now, Barb, the real estate market has had some recent turmoil, which could actually be good for buyers and not so good for sellers. Tell us about that, Barb.
Well, we've got new statistics just in. So I've been watching these statistics every week. I have this really cool software that will show me almost on a daily basis what is going on with the trends, the average sales price, the average list price, what's the days on market. Those are good indicators to get a feel for what's happening. But what I've noticed is since July, the prices have actually decreased a bit in El Paso County. It's not the same in Douglas County. Douglas County's been relatively flat. What I see in Douglas County is the days on market are going up. Similar in El Paso County, but what we're seeing pretty much for the last 5 weeks in a row, a substantial drop in prices. Now the median list price for a home, that's the middle, is about 529,000. That's off by 5,000 as compared to mid-November. And the average days on market keeps getting longer and longer. So why does that matter? Some sellers are patient. They'll tell me, I don't, I'll wait. I'm not in a hurry. It's okay. I'll wait for the right buyer. And that's fine too. But most home sellers really don't like the pain of having to have their house show ready every single day. The surprises that they get of the showings, or the lack of feedback that they get from the agents that are showing about what did the buyer actually think. They're wondering, why didn't they make me an offer? That kind of thing. And so sometimes the agents really don't know what the buyers really are looking for. And so they just take them to show a lot of homes and hope that one of them, connects with the buyer. And so there's some indicators that are pretty important. One of them is pending sales. So we're seeing in El Paso County, pending sales are starting to drop pretty substantially. If you look at the total sales of the year, however, if you compare it to 2023, it's almost the same. So what we're hearing from the experts going forward is we're kind of expecting more of the same, except that the average days on market has gone up substantially. It's gone up over 92 days in El Paso County. And it's still to this day less costly to rent with these higher interest rates than it is to buy. So a buyer really has to want to buy a home, and many of them do. The whole idea of home ownership and the permanency of it and being able to, enjoy the home that you own and stop paying your landlord's mortgage is wonderful for most home buyers, but they have to be able to afford the payment. So that's where they run into problems. And we're seeing right now that more sellers are withdrawing their homes off the market right now, and they can do it financially because they're probably sitting on very low interest rates. And so a lot of them want to wait out the holidays as well. So actually, if you are needing to sell, the holidays is a really good time because the homes look so pretty. They're decorated. And many times the buyers that are looking for homes over the holidays are very serious, very committed about getting it to the finish line. So that's good news. What's happening in mortgage rates right now is we're seeing that the rates have dropped since it's really been weird. Like right before the election, the 30-year fix was at 6.10. After the election, it went up to 7.4. I don't know why the surge, but there was an automatic reaction from the buyers. They quit buying. So I think people pricing mortgages, the people that deliver the money, they understand supply and demand, and they can see that, hey, at these rates, buyers aren't buying as much. Maybe they'll correct it down. So we've gone from 7.4 down to 6.9. For a government loan, you can probably get about 6.23. And so as a result, we're seeing more homes on the market and longer times to sell, which means there's more choices for buyers and there's more competition for sellers. So when a seller prices a home, they have to get that right. I talk to home sellers all the time that tell me, well, my former agent said to price it here. He said the price was fine. But the market's going to tell you almost immediately if the price is not fine. It's going to tell you by the volume of showings. It's going to tell you by the feedback or whether or not you're getting offers. So if you don't want to wait 3 months or longer to sell your home, the best thing to do is price it what I call very realistically versus optimistically. And we can help you do that. As part of what we do to help our home sellers, we give them advice on what to do and what not to do to get their house ready for sale. Picking the right agent is absolutely critical when you sell a home. Pricing it right is critical too. And that's because the buyers won't come if it's overpriced. They won't even show up. And that's a big surprise for most sellers. A lot of sellers will tell me, well, why don't they just make an offer? But they have fear that you won't accept their offer, right? So they don't even go look at it. They don't get excited about it if they think the home is overpriced. And because of all these tech companies that are out there like Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, they're showing the world what all the homes around you are worth. So the buyers are getting very well educated about the market and they just won't look at it if they think it's overpriced. And you have to make sure that your home is promoted properly, meaning the pictures have to be a wow in order to get the buyer to even show up. So if you're interested in getting tips on what to do, on how to get your house ready for sale to command top dollar, we offer some great free reports on the website, barbhasthebuyers.com. Just go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on the green button. Or if you are ready to make a move now, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. And my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I'm also the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about what the experts are saying the Colorado housing predictions should be for 2025. And next up, we're going to talk about what the experts actually think about the market ahead. So if you are thinking of making a move, I have over 28,041 buyers in waiting just on my little website looking for homes, and we can typically match at least 700 of those buyers that have put in all the criteria for your home to get it sold very quickly. So give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Now, for this microphone, I guess you're going to have to back up a little bit more.
Oh, tell me to get closer.
Yeah, I did. I'm very glad that you listened to me, but it's too
Back up.
close. Yeah.
I'm overmodulating.
It's not that I'm getting a lot of popping just
Pop.
about every P, and I can clean it up for this segment, but I hope I don't have to do it for the whole show.
Okay. I moved it. Now I'm probably 6, 7 inches.
Okay.
I should have one of those microphone covers somewhere.
That would help too.
I used to have one of those.
You ready?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can
Yeah.
do the reset, I think
Yes.
is where we're at.
Yeah, so we're ready for the second half of the segment
Got it.
where I
Ready.
go, Richard.
Yep. 3, 2, 1. Now, Barb, we're discussing the current real estate market and how people can be prepared if they want to buy or sell. So, what should home sellers expect and do in a market situation like this one?
Well, I think there are quite a few buyers kind of sitting on the sidelines, kind of hoping that the rates go down and that the prices go down. So the prices are flat in Douglas County and El Paso County. They are dropping a bit in the past 5, 6 weeks. And so that's okay if they do that. But I think what happens is if they wait too long and they see that the prices have dropped or that they see that the rates go down, other buyers are going to enter the market and compete with them. And so, in any market, typically buyers have a really good radar detection on a great deal, and they will jump on it in a heartbeat. But I would say if they're sitting on the sidelines waiting, I wouldn't wait too long, because if you do, then you're probably going to be facing competition when if the rates come down just a little bit. And, most buyers take a hard look at the changes of interest rates. That's what they care about. So not so much the actual number. So typically the lenders can solve their problem. We just put a deal together actually today where the buyer asked for a high amount of closing costs because what they're going to do with that money is buy the interest rate down. And the seller was okay with it. Actually, the seller had just decided to make a price adjustment. So before we had time to do that, the offer came in. I told the seller, let's wait and see what the offer is. And fortunately, we ended up getting the seller more than what their correction was. So they were pretty pleased with that. And the buyer got what they wanted. They got their price, they got their closing cost, and we're moving forward towards the closing. But according to experts like Freddie Mac, who provides a lot of the funding for loans in the country, they are expecting the home prices to actually increase in 2025. And although inventory may be somewhat higher than what we saw at the end of 2022 and the first part of 2023, which means there's more competition, the interest rates might be a little bit lower going into next year, which means the buyers are going to jump on it. And so what I think home sellers should be doing in this market right now is be flexible, provide options just like a builder does. A builder offers buy downs for interest rates. Make sure that you update the home enough to compete with new homes, especially if you have a lot of new home competition around you. So make sure things like the flooring is fresh. Any kind of deferred maintenance or what appears to be dated could mean the difference between a buyer opting for your home versus another home. Carpet, if you have drama carpet, it's best to correct that. Paint for sure. If it is very dramatic, it's best to correct that. Curb appeal is absolutely critical. So I know it's hard this time of year, but I would consider trying to paint the front door. If you catch a warm day, maybe fix that broken doorbell that a lot of people have because of the weather. Trim up your bushes, update the mulch beds, and then inside the home, make sure you're taking care of things like, just declutter, make sure that the appliances match, and that there's no broken stuff and it doesn't feel dated or tired right now. We had a house that recently that was priced very realistically. So pricing is driving everything right now. And what they did was, even though we could prove the value at a higher number than where they priced the home, the similar sales were between 490 and 540. The seller went ahead and priced at 499, and we sold it in 2 weeks at 515. So that's the way to reduce the pain point of waiting for, months and months to sell your home. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how do you get a cash offer on your home. You don't want to miss that. There you go. One
The
down.
time just flies by.
It
I
does.
look up and go, oh my God, 14 minutes. Wrap it up, girl.
Very good at doing that, though. I always think about that because I don't think I've ever heard you, stomp on the gas pedal and it sounded like you stomped on the gas pedal. It always seems so natural that you're doing it that
Thank you.
That's a compliment to you.
Thank you, Richard. So was the audio better that round?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I'm ready. Let me know when you guys are.
Ready.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, most home buyers are searching on those big national websites like Zillow, Realtor.com, and Homes.com. They love looking at homes, but most don't know how to prepare to buy a home. So, what are some tips that you can give home buyers to prepare to actually buy a home?
Okay. So that's segment 4.
Geez, you know what? And it says segment 4 right on the top of it. Gee. Okay. Yeah, because
It's one of those days.
One of those days.
Well, we've had a lot, without going into it, we've just had a ton of turmoil in the Randall household, and um, I'm all over the place. I'm trying to do too many things. I was out talking to some people when I was, putting these together, and I grabbed them and came in here, and apparently I grabbed number 4, put it on the top. We'll do it again.
No worries.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with the host of the program, Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, with the real estate market cooling off some, many home sellers don't want to wait months to sell their homes or actually have to worry about their contracts failing for various reasons. So, how does someone go about getting a cash offer on their home in this market?
Well, what's interesting right now, Richard, is on average, half of the home sellers are reducing their prices when they initially go on the market. Now, most sellers will tell me, I want the most money, which is fine. Of course, we want them to get the most money too. However, what a home will sell for is what a buyer's willing to pay, right? And if you get multiple buyers willing to pay, that's a good thing. You get to pick and choose the best offer. But right now, with the rates being higher, it really takes out 30 to 37% of the first-time home buyers out of the market. And so those sales kind of trickle up. So if you have the higher price points and they have a home to sell before they move up to their next home, sometimes it's harder for those to sell. So basically, in this kind of market, there are more and more home sellers looking at cash offers. I just looked at a survey this morning that Zillow did. They surveyed over 6,000 home sellers recently, and those home sellers said that half of their original contracts fell through. That's a big number. I don't usually see that many contract failures in my practice, but to hear that, it either means buyer financing, inspection, I don't know, but that seems like a big number. I had one that I took over from another agent where that exact thing happened. And they never told the seller why really they were walking away other than, quote, inspection. But it did turn out that the seller got some kind of notification that the buyer actually didn't qualify, and the agent used the quote inspection thing to get the buyer out of the contract. So that kind of stuff happens. I don't know. I guess buyers sometimes get cold feet. I don't really see that too often, but I think that that whole uncertainty of the whole thing, the getting the house ready for sale, dealing with showings. I was just talking to a home seller yesterday that they said, yep, they left doors unlocked, blah, blah, blah. I said, it's going to happen. Just plan on it. The demand destruction if the buyer walks through. So, I'm sorry, the demand destruction if the buyer ends up walking away. So a seller accepts a contract, right? The buyer changes their mind, no fault of the seller. So we go back on the market, and all the other agents assume there's something wrong with the house. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the house. It was just the buyer that had a problem, but it does kind of create uncertainty for the buyers going forward. Also, things like if their agent isn't properly coaching a buyer about what it takes to what is a reasonable request for a buyer to make in terms of repairs when they do an inspection. If they're asking for all new stuff like a brand new $45,000 deck, um, that could make sense if the deck was unsafe and about to fall down. Okay. And that probably should have been dealt with before they put the house on the market. But if the deck is sound and it just needs a few minor repairs to keep it going, it doesn't make sense for buyers to ask for that. So that was a recent contract failure that I heard about. Some of the big ticket things that sellers have to deal with pretty often when they're selling homes are like septic systems, very expensive. New roofs can be expensive if your insurance company doesn't cover it. Things like sewer line repairs, all that sort of stuff can get pretty pricey. And most sellers just don't want to deal with it. They want to get their price, know when they're moving, and move on. So even if the buyer gets a great deal on the house, many times they will ask for ridiculous repairs. I just closed one where really the buyer got over $50,000 off full market value just because the home was cosmetically challenged with paint. So the cabinets were sparkle black, there was some real dramatic colors, just unprofessional paint throughout the main and the upper level. So they got a good deal on the house, but then when they did the inspection, oh, we want $25,000 off because the basement wasn't permitted. Well, you know, it doesn't cost that much to permit a basement. And what I find is home sellers, when they hire professionals to do any kind of improvements like that, like a roof or additions or finishing a basement, they don't check the county website to see if a permit was pulled. They don't know. They hire professionals. They expect the professionals to do their job, and they don't think much about it. So some of the contractors will fail to pull a permit. Then they're leaving a problem for the seller when it's time to sell. So all those kind of things are hassles that a lot of home sellers really don't want to deal with. I had one recently. There was a lot of uncertainty around the financing because the appraiser asked for a bunch of repairs. The appraiser was very slow to go back, and we got them done like as soon as we found out about them. But then the appraiser was slow to go out there to look at it and then clear those off. And then it just snowballed, and it ended up being a 2-week delay on the closing. So all those kind of things are super frustrated. All those kind of things are super frustrating for home sellers. And a lot of times they don't want to deal with it. I recently just talked to an appraiser that said many times appraisals will come in low and it will cause deals to fall apart. And it's unfortunate, but the truth is, in this industry, there is an 87% turnover of real estate agents every 5 years. So many times agents don't know anything about what it looks like to have a market that might be flat or correcting. And I'm actually getting agents to call me to sell their listings. So, I mean, that kind of stuff is going on right now because they don't know how to deal with this market. They're only used to flying high, bidding wars on everything. And I think, the lack of agent knowledge kind of hurts some home sellers. And so that's why we're seeing more and more home sellers look at the cash offer option because they don't have to deal with any of that. They don't have to worry about an appraisal. They don't have to worry about fixing things from an inspection. They know their number up front. They know exactly what day they're going to close. It's done. So we actually can help home sellers do that. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about why home sellers pursue cash offers on their home versus the traditional selling process. And next up, we're going to talk about how to get a cash offer on your home. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. Not only will we give you tips on what to do to get your house ready for sale if you plan to sell the traditional way with the live in the home type buyer, we can also show up with as many as a dozen or more cash offers on your home. That way you have options and choices on which option is best for you. So just give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program and owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can always reach her at 719-301-3900. And we're talking with Barb about what makes a cash offer better on a home for sellers.
Well, Richard, there's a lot of benefits of getting a cash offer. First of all, it's just the word certainty. I had a ex-Marine infantry officer who became, like an executive when I was trying to explain the typical sales process that if you accepted a buyer that was getting a loan, you do the inspection, you do the appraisal, and if everything goes well, then maybe a week before closing that you're going to the finish line. And he looked at me and he goes, Barb, seems like that whole process, you're just wallowing around in the mud and then finally it's over. I said, that's pretty much it. So people don't like the process. It's not very fun. But with a cash offer, it is a lot of certainty. Now, some cash buyers might do an inspection, some may not. But at the end of the day, they don't ask you to do repairs. They might take the repairs off the offer amount, but they're not making you jump through hoops when you're in the middle of moving. You also don't need an appraisal when you're selling to a cash buyer. You can close on time and you can move on your schedule. And, one of the things that we do that makes us very, very different here at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty is that right now, I think Zillow or the National Association of Realtors did a study to find out how many home sellers are actually pursuing cash offers before they actually call a real estate agent. And most of them are, and most of them are looking at 1, 2, or 3 different investor cash offer programs if they need to sell right away and they want to get it done fast. And we don't show up with just one. We have over 70 cash buyers on our special platform. We could put any address in the country on this platform, and it will automatically send out about 6 to 12 offers that we could present to our clients right out of the gate. And it gives them options. They can either go down the road of looking at the cash offers, and we talk about how much they're going to put in their pocket after it sells for cash, or we go down the traditional sale route. But either way, the seller wins, and they can even pivot back to cash offers later if it doesn't work. Plus, we have investors and buyers on our cash offer platform, and they can make offers as well. So it's a very different thing. Nobody else is doing this. pretty much in this market. And I think it's if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. We'd love to talk with you. No cost or obligation to sit down and see what we have, see what our offers look like, and we can help you. Plus, if you go down the traditional road, we offer 100% of market value, or I'll pay you the difference. To find out how that works, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. When we come back, we're going to be discussing, should you make repairs on your Colorado home before you sell? Stay tuned for that. Wow. Talk about hang on here. I froze up. I was going to say, you are about as close to 12 as I think you've ever been.
I cut a lot of stuff out. I'm like, oh, gotta finish. Oh.
Let's see, maybe we'll go to 3 instead of 4. Thinking, I'm sorry for that.
Did you guys have a nice Thanksgiving?
So we had my kids both came home for Thanksgiving,
That's nice.
and it turned out okay because turned out they didn't come home for Thanksgiving. My father-in-law and mother-in-law live with us,
Right.
and he's been sick for a while, but he passed away at 3 o'clock in the morning 2 nights ago. So
Oh,
they
I'm
didn't have
sorry.
Thanksgiving. We actually didn't have a dinner or anything like that, but they did get a chance to see and talk with their grandfather before he passed away. So I was saying that everything has been turmoil and stuff. That's where a lot of it was.
Right.
But he was in so much pain that I think everybody knows that he's in a better place. And actually, the good news was I got a text from my daughter was back with him when it happened. And she just sent a text that said, uh, Dad, Grandpa just passed into the arms of God.
Oh,
And she's believed in God and stuff, but she told her brother that this whole thing has brought her closer and understanding. So there's good stuff that comes out of it. It's just hard. It's just hard. How about
yeah.
you?
That was good. Max came home, so we had lots of fun and, you know, got to see his friends, and he's doing good. So he's got it. He's going to they're doing the Marine Ball late, so it's going to be this coming Thursday night. I guess they have Friday off, and he has a date, but I'm not allowed to ask him about those things anymore because what happens is I tell the family, and then they all text and go, I want a picture. Who is she? You know, they start like interrogating him. He goes, okay, I'm not doing this until
I'm
it's
out
done.
on it. Yeah. It is funny though. I have to say, the Marine Ball is such a deal. It does not seem like the other armed services have anything that really even comes
Yeah.
close. No offense to the Navy or anything, but
Yeah, it's a real special event. So I'm excited about him going. I'm hoping to get a picture, and I'll
I
try
mean,
not to
you're the
interrogate.
mom, so you get special privileges, right?
Maybe. I don't know. It's that generation's very private, you know?
They are, and it took me a while to realize that. And once I did, it's like, okay, it's a matter of respect. You get to call your own shots on what you're doing and who you're doing it with, and
Yeah.
they are very private.
Yeah, I forget I'm just the mom.
I know, right? Well, and I think for me, I just realized, well, okay, that's fine for me to have this information, but they just don't want other people to have that information. And I understand that I screwed up on social media a while by, putting prom pictures there and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
I got so yelled at for doing that kind of thing.
right, yeah, I
So
should go back and
how's your mom doing? Is she okay?
okay. You know what? She is, it's going to be tough on her because she has never been alone. She
Oh,
grew up in a household. She got married to him. And when he went into the hospital about a year ago, that was the very first time she had ever spent a night alone.
wow.
And so it's going to take, I think, an adjustment for her because he was around, every day. And now she's going to have an empty house for part of the day. But I think everybody, will just certainly try to um, make a new normal. It's funny because I told that story to somebody and he was talking about when his father died, his mom confessed to him that she didn't know how to put gas in the car
Mm. Yeah.
because his dad had been such a gentleman that for all of those years, he always gassed up the car and she never had to know how to do it. I said, that's a pretty big compliment for your father.
That is. It's very, very cool.
All
So,
right, I've got three here. I'm good to go. Well, DJ, how was your Thanksgiving?
I worked most of it.
You know
oh,
what?
that's right. You worked that day.
Yeah, I think Wednesday was the only day I had off.
You know what? And I actually should not have asked the question because you should have remembered that. Oh, yikes. Okay.
Lots of sporting events.
All right. Well, we'll count it down from here in three, two, one. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, when people sell homes, they typically try to pick up and clean up so that it looks good when they're ready to sell their home. How does someone prepare their home for sale and what repairs are really needed?
Well, Richard, there's a lot of things that a home seller can do. I would say start with clutter because clutter is one of those things that most people kind of live with and it's normal. But they don't see it. It just becomes, it kind of disappears in their mind because it's just there. But when you put your house on the market, you want to make the home look as close to a model home as possible. That's what helps get the buyers in the door. And a lot of the buyers, they just can't see past clutter. So that's number one. And we actually have a whole team that helps home sellers do that. We bring in a stager and she'll give you a checklist room by room by room on what to do to get ready. You don't have to do everything, but that's one of the things that you can do. And the best way to tell that you have clutter is just take a camera, take a picture of it, and blow it up. It'll jump off the page where the clutter is in the room. And a lot of buyers really won't even go look at a home that is photographed with clutter. So that's really, really important. Um, the other thing is when you get your house ready for sale, I think on the repair front, you just have to look at it as if a lot of people say, well, won't they make me an offer if it needs X repair? And generally, they may. Not very often. I mean, my experience more and more is buyers really don't want to do any kind of work. So it's a really good idea to take care of some of the cosmetic things, because the whole objective when you present your home to the market, and builders really have this down, is basically you make the home look very inviting, very clutter free, so that the buyers can visualize themselves inside the home. And that's why when you go into model homes, you'll see how pretty it looks. It's well furnished, it's neutral, there's no clutter, everything's fresh and new. And the objective is to get the buyer to fall in love enough to make an offer. So as far as clutter, which rooms you have to focus on, the key rooms that you really have to show off when you're selling a home are curb appeal, the front yard, the backyard, the view, the living room, the kitchen, the master bathroom, and the master bedroom. Those are critical rooms that I would work on first. Don't worry too much about rooms like garages and inside of closets, although when you do show the home, the buyers will take a look at the inside of closets, especially the master closet. And just, if a closet is full of clothes, it just doesn't photograph well. It's okay to show off that you have a big closet, but you don't want to take pictures of it with clothes in it. Just avoid that photo. The whole idea behind photography when you're trying to sell a home is to make the home look more valuable than the asking price. And there's a way to do that. And when you get ready to sell, make sure you take it one room at a time. It's so easy, at least for me, to get very overwhelmed, and I don't know if I have a little bit of attention deficit disorder, but I'll tend to start a project and then I'll gravitate to another room and then another room, and I'm like, focus, focus, go back to doing this. So if you do it one room at a time, it makes it a lot easier. And then furniture, you don't want to have too much furniture, especially in those key rooms. A lot of people tend to have a lot of knickknacks, a lot of color, a lot of artwork, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just don't want to overwhelm. I had a stager tell me once, when you're talking about artwork on the wall, I think the traditional theory is you take down all of your personal stuff about your life and your family photos, but I don't believe in that. I think it's okay to have some family photos. It's just that some people overdo it and they put their whole life story on photos on the wall. That's too much. In general, when you're looking at a room, if you have a wall with a window and a view, that's your picture. You don't want to put artwork on there, but then maybe put it on a different wall and make sure the scale is right as far as size, but just don't overwhelm the wall with knickknacks and things like that. And there's you can repurpose a lot of this stuff. A lot of churches will take furniture and artwork and things that you don't want. You can donate it. You can sell it at a consignment store. There's some good consignment stores in town. And so there's a lot of options to prepare when you're going to go on the market and try to target a full live in the house type buyer. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how to prepare a house for sale and what repairs are going to be needed to put your home up on the market. So next up, we're going to go into a little bit more detail about some repairs that you should be thinking about. And if you are thinking of making a move, what we do is we will give home sellers a free in-home consultation about what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale. We'll talk about some of those repairs. Every home is unique in what it may need or not need. And then we actually show up with offers. We'll show you how we attract the top 700 buyers that would be a high match for your home. And we'll talk about all the benefits of working with us to get your home sold. Right now, we have over 28,041 buyers in waiting just on our little website, plus about 70 cash investors that will make pretty good offers on your home. So give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're interested in selling your home, you want to get in touch with Barb, give her a call at 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about the best ways to get a house ready for sale and what repairs might be needed to sell a home for the very most money. What are some items that sellers should be focusing on?
Well, Richard, the cosmetic things are really, really important to buyers, but they also care when they get to the inspection point about the mechanical systems. Is it functional? How old is the furnace? How old is the water heater? How old is the roof? Because they're worried about if they're buying a home that's a pre-owned home, they don't want to take on a property that's going to require updating of those major systems. But some cosmetic things will go a long way to get you an offer. Like curb appeal is absolutely critical. So if they drive by and the outside of the home looks unattractive, they're going to move on. If you have tired or worn carpet or traffic areas on your hardwood floors, it really stands out in photos. It stands out more in photos than it does in person. And it's enough to make a buyer go, I don't want to do any work. I'm going to move on to the next house, or opt for new construction where they don't have to worry about any of those things. Another mistake I see often are mismatched appliances. Now, I'm not saying you have to replace all of your appliances, but make the color match. If it's white, make it all white. If it's black, make it all white. I'm sorry. If it's black, make it all black. If it's stainless steel, you can actually combine stainless steel with black. That's okay. but just make sure you have a general color match for that. Also, the counters in the kitchen, they not only need to be cleared off of everything except for the coffee pot, but you have to make sure they're not broken or anything like that. Dated paint schemes really, really hurt home sellers. So let me give you a couple of examples. I had one that I just sold where a guest of the owner painted the kitchen cabinets sparkle black. And that was a problem. It really affected the value. Or we had a recent seller, a really nice home, and we actually had two similar homes on the market at the same time. One of them sold really fast for 50,000 over asking price, but this one was just sitting on the market week after week. And so one of my colleagues was asking me, hey, what am I doing wrong? I said, let me look at the pictures. And so when I brought up the pictures, what jumped out at me was that in one living room and one dining room, they had dramatic paint. The dining room had a mauve or pink colored accent wall, and the living room had a turquoise colored accent wall. And I said, all you need to do is neutralize that paint. And he goes, really? I mean, does that make that much difference to a buyer? I said, I'm telling you, it does. It's enough to actually cause demand destruction online. They won't come and see it because they don't want to do any work. So they spent about $1,000, neutralized those two walls, and it sold right away. So it's really, really important to take care of those things. Paint the front door, freshen up the landscaping, freshen up any tired flooring. And light fixtures are actually something that you can replace that are not really horribly expensive, but it makes a big difference to update a light fixture. And some of them, you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's or even Costco and get some great deals on light fixtures that will really dress up a home for a very low price. So a lot of home sellers may not want to deal with all that show prep. So we have other solutions for them if that's the case. We have a cash offer program where we can show up with multiple cash offers. Plus, my teammates in-house actually have their own in-house investors that can take a look at it first before you go on the open market and deal with all those problems. So that's why we're actually putting our buyers up on our proprietary cash offer platform, and the buyers are able to bid on properties that are not on market. That's very, very attractive for buyers. I just helped Roger and Sue sell their home recently. They had actually built a very traditional cookie cutter type 2-story over in the east side of town. And what was odd about it, they were the original owners and they had never bought a house before. And they went directly to the builder to buy the home, but the builder never told them that, having a 3-bedroom versus 2-bedroom is going to be, if it's only a 2-bedroom, it's going to be a problem with when you sell it. And so they built this very cookie cutter 2-story home with only 2 bedrooms. And it was very odd. It's hard to get a home like that sold. So they opted to take the cash offer. They got it sold in 2.5 weeks and they were happy as a clam. So if you are thinking of making a move and you want to talk to us about our options of either the live in the home buyer or multiple cash offers, give us a call at 719-301-3900, or you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com. We actually offer a free in-home consultation, and we'll give you tips on exactly what to do, what not to do to get your house ready for sale. So you know with confidence going forward that it is going to sell and you've done the right improvements to command the most money. So call us 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to be discussing how does a buyer prepare to buy a home, plus Barb's hot new listings. You don't want to miss those. Wow, Barbara, you are like you got this little metronome inside your body that is just clicking and clacking, and you're right there.
It's
All
just
right,
a big
step out.
clock next to me. I can see it.
I think we found just about the perfect distance away from the microphone.
Okay.
Um, but I do want you to remember that your posture is important as well. So
Oh,
you don't want to lean over or hunch because it does affect your breathing.
oh, thank you. Cool. I'm getting coaching. Thanks.
Yeah. I actually learned that back when I was in choir. You
Uh,
had to sit a certain way in order to project.
Maybe I'll bring in an exercise ball. That'll force me to sit up straight. This chair is tends to like, and it's
Too
warm in here,
cushy.
right? It tends to suck you in. You're like, ah, yeah,
It's
take a
nap
nap.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I have that at my home office. My husband got me an exercise ball with wheels on it, which is really interesting. Um,
I've seen those. How
yeah,
how how does that work?
it sits on this little circle platform with wheels, and you
No, I
sit
mean,
the
how do
ball.
you like it?
Oh,
I
um,
I
I like
understand the
it.
engineering.
Well, it sits up kind of high,
Yeah.
so I ended up buying a new desk for my house. It was 20 years old. It was time. So I got one that you can raise up and down. You can even almost stand up and do your work, which I would prefer that. I
Yeah,
like,
I love a stand-up desk.
yeah.
If I could have
Um,
one, I
but
I
anyway, so it goes up and down. So I was able to adjust it, but it does kind of force you to, because you are kind of wiggling around. You got to sit up straight. There's no choice. Whereas this thing, it's like my couch, that if you lay on my couch, you're destined to go to sleep very quickly.
the only thing that I found when it wasn't on wheels, but I did have a one of those exercise balls to sit on. Um, what I found is that I ended up bouncing a lot, and you
Yeah,
can't do that either.
right. Yeah. They did, my son, was it first grade, second grade? His second, I think it was second grade teacher, third, I don't remember. No, actually they were fifth grade, but she bought she got exercise balls in the room because she had a class of mostly boys,
Yeah,
and they're very active. They can't
absolutely.
just sit there, you know.
Mm-mm.
And so, and that's what they sat on. That was their chair. So it's pretty cool. It kind of forced them to, because you are moving if you're
Yeah,
sitting on a ball. You have no
yeah,
choice. So
absolutely. And you have to focus,
yeah.
otherwise you're just going to tumble over.
Yeah, your body, well, and your body, if your body's moving, your mind's more engaged. So
Mhm.
that's kind of cool. Be nice to get the stats to see how the show is doing, you know. I don't know if you guys have statistics on that.
It our statistics are very, very subjective. And
Really?
you can manipulate the numbers to say whatever you really want to say. Um, the fact that you get response from the show means that it's working,
Okay.
and most people will give you 1 to 2 minutes on an FM station, whereas on an AM station, the attention span is closer to 11 to 17. So, I
Right.
mean, uh, and that's kind of what I mean by subjective.
Yeah, because
The
they're in and out of cars and running
absolutely.
around and go, oh, you know.
And then the fact that you've been in a few different time slots as well, you're tapping into people that you may not have normally had.
Right. I like that.
Yeah,
I want the 7 o'clock slot on Saturday. I would think that would be a good one.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
7 a.m. was a good slot for us, wasn't it?
I think so. I would say 7 a.m. was good. We started at 6. And in all honesty, from 6 to 7 o'clock, there were people out there. They were, because I think a lot of older people, especially, 50s, 60s, are getting up at 6 o'clock, even on a Saturday. They're
It was
working
hard to
out.
get a response
Hard to get a response. Yeah.
before 7.
7 o'clock, you could tell that people were up and they were listening and responding. And I know from talking with people that they were up at 6, but they didn't feel like calling in or texting in. That's for sure.
Right.
They still needed a couple more cups of coffee.
Exactly. Exactly.
Imagine how we felt.
Yeah, you guys probably have to come in at 5 to start at 7, right?
I was here no later than 4:30.
Yeah, and I would
Yeah.
text him on the way in so that he knew that I was going to be there on time, because I
Yeah.
think that's the worst. I've never missed a show, but the worst fear is that you're going to. In
Mhm.
fact, when it gets dark out so early, I had a friend that works for an airline and went to sleep. It goes to work normally in the dark, right?
Mhm.
And woke up, it's dark, thought that missed the alarm, got up, started making coffee, getting ready to go, and then realized no, it was still evening.
Yeah,
I hate the darkness of this, daylight savings time. I don't know who we're giving it to, but I don't know why we're saving it.
I know. Phoenix
There's
State.
a bank
Likes
somewhere.
it.
There's a bank somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll cash in later.
Although I saw this place in Alaska, Point Barrow or something like that, where it's going to be dark for the next 46 days. I'm like,
Oh,
they better have
God.
tanning beds or something up there, because I'd go crazy.
Yeah.
Go crazy. All
Oh,
right.
it's hard.
Ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. Barb Schlinker is the host of the program and the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, most home buyers are searching on those big national websites like Zillow, Realtor.com, and Homes.com. They love looking at homes, but most don't know how to prepare to buy a home. So, Barb, what are some tips that you can give home buyers to prepare to buy a home?
Well, Richard, the studies show that more than 87% of home buyers actually start their search online. And many of them kind of think they don't need real estate agents. They could find a home. At least they don't need it to find a home. But they do rely on real estate agents when it's time to wheel and deal, right? They want help with getting the offers done. They want help with the paperwork. Sometimes their agents can recommend certain areas to look at homes in other areas. They also get referrals for lenders and inspectors. And it is quite a journey, quite a process. But the big key is that the buyers need to prepare, especially financially upfront. Everybody loves the shopping part. It is fun. That's why HGTV is so popular. People love looking at homes. But really, the first step is preparation. And the whole home buying process in general, it's definitely filled with a lot of emotion. In most cases, it's the person's biggest investment in a home, and they're hoping they, make the right decision on that investment. And it's the place that they call home. So, but financially, they need to be prepared so the house doesn't become a problem for them. So it starts with them really understanding what they can afford. And a lot of buyers don't know, they're just guessing. So I would start with, you could go on a really good website called Bankrate, bankrate.com/mortgage calculator. And in there, you can put in the price, the down payment you're planning on, all these different factors, and it will calculate a payment. The only thing it gets wrong is it kind of overcalculates property taxes and insurance, but you can adjust those. But at least you have a really good idea on what the monthly payment would be based on the rates right now. It really is a waste of time to take a look at homes that you can't afford, because that's frustrating as all get out. But there are some people that will do that. They'll get caught up in the game and they'll see it and they'll fall in love and, oh my God, I got to have it, but I don't know how I'm going to get it, And we see that happen often with houses. It also happens with cars, where they get the love word going and all of a sudden, they're committed to it and then they find out, oh, I can't really afford it. And those will backfire for a buyer in that you'll have probably, if you don't qualify for the loan and you think you did, and then all of a sudden you've spent money on an inspection and an appraisal, it's just very disappointing to have to back out of a house. So it's best to start with the financing process first. And a good agent can get you access to the best financing. I've seen home buyers that were able to purchase homes with weak credit and very little down payment by planning very well. And some of these lenders can really help you do that. I wouldn't pay off, like if you have things like judgments and stuff against you, don't pay those off until you actually talk to a good mortgage broker and have them look at your picture. They're not judging you. A lot of people don't like bearing their soul financially to lenders, but at the end of the day, the lender wants to get you to the finish line too. And they know how paying off things would affect credit. So, or doing some things that can hurt your credit. But having your financing ready to go before you buy it gives you so much confidence walking in the door. It gives you the ability to carry a big stick when it comes to negotiating because you're basically negotiating from a position of strength. And a lot of times you can get access to the best home once you do have your financing lined up. So start with finding out what kind of a payment you could afford. Right now in El Paso County, the average or the median listing price is about $530,000. Douglas County is about $830,000. But number one is to make sure you get your credit in order. It's really best to eliminate things like credit card debt because they don't really help you. Or any other revolving debt will affect your ability to buy a house. And if you have high balances on these credit cards, it could actually hurt your credit score. If you do have credit cards and they're mostly paid off or you use them occasionally and keep a low balance, that's okay. And that can actually help your credit score. Don't close them, whatever you do, because if you close, especially a long-term credit card, it will hurt your score, which is really strange. And what we do is we help home buyers get themselves ready. And a lot of times they really don't know the process. They just know they'd love to have a house. So we'll meet with them. We'll walk them through the whole entire process, give them tips on what to do and what not to do to get financially ready to buy their home, and also give them insider access to homes that they can't find anywhere on the internet. We have hundreds of homes just on our little platform where buyers can maybe find the best deal that never hit the market and not have to worry about competing with other buyers. So you can call us anytime at 719-301-3900. We have our top buyer agents standing by and they are ready to help them. And we can help them do all those things, including educate them about the home buying process, because people think they know what they're doing when it comes to buying a house, but it is quite a process. And I think they get fearful if they don't know what to expect. Typically, once you get a contract on a house, let me give you an example. Once you get a contract on a house, first thing you do is you turn in your earnest deposit and then you apply for your loan. Then the next step is to do a home inspection. So you do a home inspection. Maybe you ask the seller, okay, fix this and this and this. You reach agreement on that. And then there's this long break between that time and when you're supposed to actually close and own the home, where not a whole lot happens. It could be 2 or 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden, at the very end, right before closing, the lender goes, hey, I need new bank statements. I need a new pay stub. I need all this new information. And it really frightens buyers. It makes them think, oh my God, I thought I already got my loan pre-approved. Why are they asking for more stuff and we're going to close in about a week? That is very common with the process. And if you don't have a really good agent that educates you on what is going on, it freaks people out and they panic and they think that they're not going to be able to get it. So it's really good to have education about the process. So when they do buy a house, they know really with confidence going into it what's going to happen, and that how they can make really good decisions by understanding the process. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how a buyer can prepare to buy a home in Colorado. And next up, we're going to talk about how buyers can guarantee front of line access to the best homes, and many of these homes are not available online. So if you are thinking of buying a home, give us a call. We've got lots of great agents standing by to help you at 719-301-3900. Richard?
Your real estate voice. You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, what are some other things that home buyers should consider to find the best homes that are for sale here in Colorado?
Well, Richard, it's really important to start with this, establish a price or a budget of what price range you're going to be searching in. And one thing that buyers should keep in mind is many times we can get the lender to take as much as 1% off of their mortgage rate, or we can negotiate to have the seller help with their mortgage rate in order to get the payment down. So you want to factor in all these things financially, but you want to kind of set a price and understand what the difference would it make if you really got 1% off the mortgage. Plus, if you can afford it now and the rates go down maybe in a year or 6, 8 months, many times you can refinance that mortgage without doing the full forensic evaluation of your finances and be able to refinance that loan with very little, if any, out-of-pocket cost. You also want to take note of where you want to be when you buy a home, what are the best features that you want to have, and then we can help you get your search started. Most agents kind of go about it the wrong way. They pick the houses for the buyers, or they just, open a door and show a home to a buyer without really knowing what they want. But we want the buyers to be successful with the whole entire process. Plus, we give our buyers insider access to homes that they cannot find on the internet, which we have sold quite a few of them in the past year, and the buyers love it to be able to get a house that's not available otherwise. So give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, you have got some hot new listings this week. Tell us about them.
I do. I'm excited. I've got a great home on Ithaca Street in Fountain. This home has a whole bunch of bedrooms, whole bunch of bathrooms. It's over 2,800 square feet, priced at a great price of $379,999. We also have a beautiful home on Canfield Drive in Briargate. Priced in the upper fours, this home has an abundance of gleaming hardwood floors, granite counters, has a beautiful covered back patio, and gorgeous Pikes Peak views. So give us a call if you want to see it, 719-301-3900. We are holding it open on Saturday from 11 to 12. We also have a fabulous home at 8142 Foxtail Pine Place. This home is amazing. It has 6 bedrooms, 4 or 5 baths, 3-car garage, and actually the seller is offering to assume their VA loan that is at an interest rate of 2.25%. You can't get a better deal than that. And we are going to hold this one open on Saturday from 1 to 2. We also have a gorgeous home on Delmonico Drive over on the west side. Beautiful home with great views at 714.9. And then a spectacular home on Sunbird Hills priced at 1.599. This home is a gorgeous custom home with a 5-car garage in beautiful condition, and it's perfectly configured for having in-laws live on one level. They have a whole level, all on one level to live on, and with a garage access, which is amazing. We also have a couple of properties on the market that are owned by the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. These represent the best buys on the market. There's one on Fay Drive, another one on Wallowing Way, and more coming. So if you wanted to get that insider access to off-market properties, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. We also have some great lots on the market, beautiful 2+ acre lot in Colorado Mountain Estates in Florissant, priced at $70,000, and a gorgeous home down in Fountain that's got over 7 acres priced at $65,000. Give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And remember, you can see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker, or listen to the podcast on all of the platforms like Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thanks for listening this week. To reach out to Barb, again, that number is 719-301-3900. Barb, you have a great weekend and a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.